Hey, my peeps, we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. Whatever you're doing, jump on, rock on, roll on, sign on, whatever you got to do. Just ensure that you are on the live. Love 101 FM, Jamaica, Facebook and YouTube. Now, my guest today inside our live highlights is Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Amina.
Good afternoon. How are you,
I'm
Sarah
good.
Ann?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Let me continue with the introduction. I love your scarf, your head. What do you call
Oh,
that?
thank you.
I love it. You're welcome. Thank you. No, Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks hold a PhD in cultural studies. Her thesis, The Oral Tradition Displacement, Adjustment, Replacement, Storytelling as a Tool for Holistic Development, is available on the website of the University of the West Indies, Mona. Dr. Amina is an award winning writer, actress, storyteller, founder, and artistic director of Ntukuma, the Storytelling Foundation of Jamaica. She weaves tales from the loom of her practical knowledge of the Caribbean, her life skills as a mother, grandmother, educator, communication specialist, political scientist, social and cultural policy researcher and analyst, and farmer. Her stories cover a range of issues affecting gender, the environment, children, and the direction of human development. So now, my own introduction. Let me grab for my book now, Dr. Amina. So as I mentioned, she's an award-winning writer, actress, a dynamic and charismatic storyteller. She's usually telling stories about others, but today we'll be hearing the story of Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. She's my guest here right inside Alive on the family station. Welcome, Dr. Amina. Happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Sarah Ann. Happy to be with you.
Glory to God. Now, Dr. Amina, I noticed that you usually start your storytelling with some songs. I don't know which song I would use. No, I don't know which song I would use. Help me out, Dr. Amina.
You want
Sheila.
a folk song? You could have this long time, girl, me never see you.
Yes.
Come make me hold your hand. Or you want a greeting song for the from the Maroon community? You could have good morning, oh, good morning. Good morning, oh, my neighbor, good morning.
Good
And of
morning.
course, you know that in Jamaica, when you say good morning, and you mean to say how did do or how are you,
Yes.
morning could be morning, noon, or night.
Yes. I'm happy you said that, because my children of God, there's this song that I play. It says good morning. But what happened in the afternoon, they wonder if I'm crazy.
You are
Sorry,
Jamaican. You
I'm
are
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
I am.
And the worst thing somebody can say about you is she passed me and never even say good morning.
Yeah, no manners.
No manners at all, whether it's morning, noon, or night.
Right, right. No, Dr. Amina, I'm elated to have you on my show again right now. So, you're from Maxfield.
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. I grew up in Kingston 13.
He's on
I spent
13.
spent my early years in Kingston 13, but for a little while I did live on one cane piece
Oh, Kate Piece where? Which one?
out in Spanish Town. My
Okay.
aunt and her husband were supervisors on one of those cane plantation, cane estate. As children, we only call it cane piece. And I would spend most of my summer holidays with my aunt Myrtle and her husband Lassell Flynn and all my cousins from that area and chase mangoes. And when we're tired, we broke up the cane them and we eat them.
You chase mangoes.
Yes,
But
yes,
mangoes
yes.
name gone abroad. Eh? Was that how the farming come into play?
No, I became a farmer 20 years ago when I went to live in St. Mary. And I
Oh,
went to live in St. Mary because I knew that I wanted to grow my own food. First of all, say every Jamaican is a farmer, whether them have land or not.
yes,
Especially those who are farming flowers. Them get them little a pea and pan,
yes, 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 yes,
right? So I grew up with knowing that I could grow things.
yes.
And then I went to St. Mary and discovered that things grow me
Things grow you.
in a real way. You see, the first time you come out of your house and you go to where you're planting and you dig up something that you have planted, like potato or anything like that,
Yes,
and
yam.
you realize that everything that you are come out of the dirt,
Yes.
you grow in a different way. This
Oh,
pretty head tie, this ears ring, this
yes,
scarf, this dress, everything that we are come out of the earth. And so you learn that the farmers who sacrifice so much, especially in a place like St. Mary, in the land of wood and water that don't have water,
do have water. Yes. Tell
right?
me about it.
So when I say that growing my own food also raised me in a different way, I mean the appreciation that I have for people who grow food. When one of the farmers in my district came to me so elated that he had reaped 28 pounds of string beans and he might go and market with it, we couldn't
Mm,
tell him say I don't enough money him go earn. It only look enough because it's string beans and string beans light.
yes,
But to see the kind of pride that Jamaicans have in not only growing their own food, but being economically independent and being able to feed others raises you in a different kind of consciousness about what is valuable and what you should value.
yes, indeed. Now, Dr. Amina, we're going to backtrack a little and we're going to go to storytelling. Now, you were raised on storytelling. Did you always wanted to be a storyteller, or did you even know that you would become a storyteller?
I never know that it had a name. I didn't
Oh,
know it had a name. My parents were simply having conversations with us. I have two brothers and two sisters. I'm the firstborn. They were simply having conversations with us, but them come from the country. And Jamaican country people are some of the wisest people in the world.
yes,
Big head people have now created a phrase for what country people know. Them call it indigenous knowledge systems.
right.
That is what you know because of how you live and your relationship with the environment. And by the way, Miss Sarah and Edwards, the first person who gave somebody a degree never have none.
What you saying?
Them never have none.
My
The
lord.
first time a degree was handed out, the person who says, see a degree here or a certificate, never have none. They simply got up and taught somebody what life had taught them and then said, tell me back what I just tell you. Oh, you
Mm,
get that sticky, say you know it.
yes,
That's what we mean by indigenous knowledge systems, the real knowledge of the people that don't yet enter into any book or enter into book, and the real people who create the real knowledge have not been credited for it.
yes,
So in this Black History Month, in the 60th year of Jamaica's independence, we big up all of those people who we think said never go to high school, never even finish primary school, but who have taught us so much through the indigenous knowledge systems. My parents was in that category. My father come from Manchester and my mother come from Brandon Hill in rural St.
Saint
Andrew.
Andrew.
And they spoke to us in stories and songs and proverbs all the time. And as a child growing up, it seemed to me that the only time the radio turned on was to hear the Lou and Ronnie show. Me never know that the whole world never talks, so.
Yes.
I didn't know that people who spoke like that were not supposed to be on the radio.
And you mean
It was
Patois,
a
right?
natural part of my upbringing. And
Yes.
the first time somebody said to me, "Do you realize you speak anecdotally?" Me never know how to conjugate it. 'Cause I was learning, yes, and that may I try tell you.
No, Dr. Amina, you went to, they call it the St. Andrews High School now for girls. You went
Yes,
to the St. Andrews High School for girls. So
yes.
how did you manage when you were there?
I didn't know that I was managing, and I didn't know that I was supposed to manage. I just saw my parents raise us.
Yes.
You take up space and go on like say you're important. So I didn't know until much later, really, much later, long after I left school. And one of my friends that I had met through the Sixth Form Association who went to St. George's College said to me, "But how you go St. Andrew High School and come out with your head straight on your body?" And then, yeah, and then I reflected on what Stuart would have meant by that. The truth is that when you're bright, people now go try getting in your way.
Or when you're bright, people don't get it, try to get in your way.
No, because them want something from you. You have something where them want. Them a come ask you how to do the Spanish homework or
Yes,
whatever the homework is.
yes, yes.
Um, yeah, but I also had other gifts that were important to the school. I went to a Sunday school that had concerts all the time.
Yes.
So I was a little dramatist since I didn't even know the word.
Oh, is there
And
so the actress come from?
yeah, man,
Okay. All
from church,
right.
and my parents as well. So I quickly became a very active member of the school's drama society, and I'll go to school's drama festival and win prize for the school. And so I was a valuable member of the community, not because I'm saying so myself, but
Yes.
because I have about 4 or 5 books at my house to prove it. Because St. Andrew High School had, I don't know if they still have it, an annual award ceremony. I think it was only for the upper school, that prizes were given out for citizenship. And every year me get prize for citizenship. That means I was a good citizen. You see,
Yes.
as much as I'm talking like this, if I had a daughter and I had a choice about which school she would go, St. Andrew High School,
St. Andrew High School.
because the education I received at St. Andrew High School wasn't just book bound, it was about education for life. And it was about developing the leadership abilities and capabilities in the girls who found themselves there as students.
Right. No, you selected two other schools. So St. Andrew wasn't one or the choice that you selected, but a teacher saw
You
that,
know,
right?
say you live on Google too much, little girl.
Oh,
Where you
me?
getting all of that information?
You don't have to do my research. So tell us about the two schools that you selected and what happened after, because I know that the teacher rubbed it out and put down St. Andrew High School
Yes,
saying it's
yes,
the best.
yes.
Right.
When I was little, I only knew 2 schools
Yes.
because I had to pass them en route to the library.
Library on
And my
Saturday.
mother made sure that we went to the library at Tom Redcam every Saturday morning. So I
Mm.
had to pass St. Hugh's and Woolmer's.
Oh,
Well, when it was time for me to select, in those days, I believe you could only select 2 schools, a first and second choice. So, me not know which was the first and which was the second, but at them 2 school, them made it tick off. Had
right.
this wonderful teacher, Mrs. Walcott, whose daughter went to St. Andrew High School and who was enamored of the school. And when she says, me choose Woolmer's, am I still there with you? Because it's a
Yes.
right. When
Right.
said me choose Woolmer's and St.
Thank
Hugh's.
you.
She looked at me scornfully and she said, "You're going to the best school." And she rubbed out them two there and she never put a second choice. She never put a second choice. And so yes, so I give thanks to Mrs. Walcott. She knew what she was doing.
Okay, which school did you? Which primary school was that? Maxfield.
Oh yes, I went to Maxwell. I don't know about where I talk about
Yep.
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
When we did liquor, we call it Maxwell. Maxwell Park.
Okay, so you went to Maxfield Primary School.
Yeah, Maxwell Park
Primary
Primary School.
School. Okay,
Yes.
and then you
I
met your
went to
baby.
Maxwell Park Primary School in the days when the academic year begun in January, when school ended at 3 o'clock. I can't remember what time school started, but school ended at 3 o'clock and you get an hour for lunch. So you either go home for lunch or you ramp the whole time up at the ball ground.
Yes.
Yes.
What did you do with that 1 hour?
Me ramp,
You Rob.
me ramp. They were and I used to ramp with the boys them, and one of the boys I used to ramp with named Japhet Walker. I hope Japhet is listening because Japhet is the father of Melaine Walker. You
Oh,
might know, yes, indeed, you
yeah,
might know that name from Olympics and hurdles and all of those
I guess.
things. Yes, so sometimes I feel like it's my child too. Um, yes, so that's what we used to do. We used to play dandy shandy and bat up and catch and all of those wonderful things. My mother brought lunch for us at school, so we never had to go home. My mother bring
Okay.
lunch and she sit down and she would have put three desks together and she bring her one tablecloth, a very proper country lady.
Oh,
Yes, and she spread the tablecloth on the three desks and she gather up me and my sister and brother and she feed us. For she know say anyhow she give we lunch money. We go buy guinea and sweet and foolishness and country people don't eat guinea and sweetie for lunch.
oh, what them eat for lunch?
What them eat for lunch? Proper thing, man. Cornmeal porridge and hard bread, dumpling and ackee. Yes.
Okay,
So my mother would bring our lunch to school. We would have still get little bit of money if you buy two June plum. Yes.
okay, and
But
sweetie
she
perhaps.
made sure that we ate properly at lunchtime.
Beautiful, and that was primary school days.
That was primary school days,
All
yes.
right. Now, many of us, like myself, was we were cleaning our shoes and
Me never
ironing.
know nothing about that. Me
I
never know
know,
nothing. Me
I know.
never know a thing.
I'm getting to there. So yeah, so I started ironing my uniform
Not
from
me.
primary school.
Never know nothing about that.
Right. So your mother was very, she was firm and in ensuring that, hey, I will do the chores. Just ensure that you are studying. So up until fifth form, you didn't know about polishing shoes.
I had Saturday morning chores.
Yes.
We had chores to do on a Saturday morning, and those chores would rotate. Who go and sweep the yard, who go and clean the floor, who go and dust the furniture. We had those chores. But during the week, we not have nothing to do but go to school because you are never going to accuse Miss Pearl of standing in the way of your study. That's my mother. My mother was very clear that her job was to make sure that we could do our schoolwork, and our job was to reward her by doing the work well. She never said that part. I just put it in, but we both reward her. But I
Nice.
am sure she felt rewarded.
Yes.
Yeah, so that my mother would clean our shoes, not just mine, my sister and my brothers.
Yes.
My mother would iron the school uniform. My mother would cook, and she wake up on a Saturday morning, and it seemed to me that on a Saturday morning, my mother only knew three words: book, book, book. And And after you eat your breakfast, if you're not going to the library, Miss Pearl would speak her three words, and you pick up your book and go do some work.
And Miss Pearl is your mother.
Yes,
And what's your father's name?
Mr. Johnny.
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, and we call them that. We call them Miss Pearl and Mr.
You
Johnny.
tell him Miss Pearl, why not mommy and daddy?
We just grew up calling them Miss Pearl and Mr. Johnny, and there
Okay.
was no objection.
All right. No, what?
Interestingly enough, the grandchildren learned to call them grandma.
Yes.
But we never said anything like that. It was Miss Pearl and Mr. Johnny.
Okay, Mr. Johnny. And talk to us about Mr. Johnny because Mr. Johnny in a class by himself, you know. He
Yeah,
was a
Mr. Johnny in
revivalist.
a class. Mr. Johnny in a class by himself. Mr.
Yes.
Johnny was such a wonderful person. If Mr. Johnny was still alive on the 4th of February, so that's 2 or 3 weeks ago, he would have been 100 years old. And
My.
my sisters and my brothers and my nieces and nephews and in-laws gathered and had a birthday party in his honor. He was a wonderful human being. He too was a man of few words,
Yes.
but we learned so much from him. We learned gratitude. Whatever, even when we were adults, if you ever said to Mr. Johnny, say, me not have no birthday present for give you today, he would just smile and say, me not give you nothing for put on.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my father was like that. So say after in love, you're nothing for put on if you give him 1 cent or 1 foot of socks or, or piece of a felt hat after that. He was just supremely grateful. My father laughed a lot, and in that sense, I am most like my father, I think, of all my siblings. Maybe all of us get it.
Yeah.
This way of laughing at anything for any reason. What else about my father is so fascinating? When my father died and I was speaking at his funeral, because I know how to be dramatic,
Yes.
I started by saying, I have never known my father to say good morning or good evening. Once the people I mean at the church, I wonder what kind of man that no say good morning or good evening. My father would greet us every morning with, God bless your daughter.
Oh.
God bless your son. Yes. And
Yeah.
good night to us as we went to bed was the same thing. God bless you, my child. God bless you. In fact, one of the things that my sister remembered I mean, we don't forget it, but she's the one who spoke about it on the 4th of February, is how my father lived in the Bible. My
Mm.
father lived in the Bible. My father would just come home and gather up the 5 of us and choose a psalm or whatever passage of scripture. And then we would take turns reading that passage of scripture for him until it had come to an end. So, yeah, so those are some of the memories I have about my father.
He's a lovely man from what I just heard, and he was born a day after me. Well, not the year, but I'm the 3rd of February. And he was the 4th, and of course I can tell that he was such a great man, right?
He was.
And
He
what
was.
role did your mother play in your life? I know it was a very important one because she was ensuring that, hey, book, studying your book.
You know something? My father never beat us.
Oh,
Never hit any of us. Never hit the girls. Never hit the boys. But him do something worse than that.
what is that?
Him tell we mother say we out of order for she's the beater woman.
Since the Mama Beater, back in my days we used to play this thing called Mama Beater. So she
Yes,
was
man.
Mama Beater.
She the beater woman. So if you're and she would be embarrassed as those parents in that time would be embarrassed if somebody had to complain about them picnic. And
Yes.
and looking back at it now, I think she'd be most embarrassed if I'm a father have to say we do something wrong because that might imply say she now raise us properly. Me no know. So Mr. Johnny would have tell her say we out of order man, and she would have beat we, no questions asked.
No questions asked.
No, you don't have no side of the story. Your father don't have to complain upon you. You're wrong.
You're wrong. My listeners, if you're just joining me, I am talking with Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks, award-winning writer, actress, storyteller, founder, and artistic director of Untukuma Storytelling Foundation of Jamaica.
Is
Now,
him same man we call brother Tukuma, you know.
oh,
That's Brother
Really?
Tukuma. But what you have there is the Ghanaian version of his name
Oh,
because he came to us from Ghana. A Brother Tukuma that. N Tukuma. You said it correctly.
but no, it took. Well, I know Brother Tukuma,
Yes,
and
well, I him that.
okay, and you are the founder of that foundation,
Yes.
Storytelling Foundation. Well, we're
Yes.
gonna go to that in a moment. But where do you get your inspiration from when you're writing your stories?
Life. Life. I tell you, this place unfolds every day. We just have to look. Peter Tosh used to say that he didn't write any of his songs. I once heard him say that he just wake up in the morning and go outside and whole heap of song a spin round his head and he just pick down one. I
Right.
think I do the same with stories. Storytelling fascinates me. Our people are such wonderful storytellers. They're either telling stories themselves or they're giving you stories to tell. I lived outside of Jamaica for a while, and when I first came back to Jamaica, one of the first stories I wrote was about Finsack. Come, me never know about Finsack.
Yes.
Do you know anything at all about Finsack, Miss Sarah Ann Edwards?
No.
You
I
don't
don't.
even Anyway, it was this organization that was set up to rectify the situation of banks that had collapsed or were collapsing and people losing their money. Okay.
Oh,
So it's a rescue for people who have money. Well,
okay.
I was driving past Devon House one afternoon in my early return to Jamaica. And I see one man I beg. Now, when I left Jamaica, people who beg on the street were little children. No big man, as would I say, big greyback man. And
Yeah.
here is big greyback man. I beg. Now I know that I am going to offer him whatever I can afford. So why I have to go and behave like a social worker? Figure and talk about say, and why are you out here begging? Well, the man put me to me roundabout, as they say.
Oh
Yes, as they say in the Eastern Caribbean. Him say, lady, I am a market failure, but I don't have any finsack I can go to. Economics 101 because I had to go find out now with what name Finsack
Lord. Yes, yes.
to be describing himself as a market failure. Our people are grounded deeply in what is happening around them, and
Yeah.
they talk in the language that we don't think them supposed to talk in. And if you listen to them, you find all kind. They really are telling you stories of their lived experience, and learning from Miss Lou, who said that. She became very observant. That is what gave her poem such life, that she had to observe people around her. You can't be a storyteller except you're observing from a respectful space. And once you're doing that, people will give you the opportunity to document their lives and the life of Jamaica land we love.
Amen. Now, you just mentioned Miss Lou. Was she one of your inspirations or motivators?
You know, I have to say no. I have
Oh,
to say no. I have tremendous respect for the work that Louise Bennett did and for the work that she continues to do in the way that our children have learned to honor her works and to perform them. But remember, I said to you earlier that me never know that Miss Lou was a talk bad. Turn on the radio. She was just simply another member of the extended family who talked like my parents.
yes,
And
yes.
then she was doing what my parents, so she was a tell story.
Right.
And she and Masran was a quarrel with Liza, and I got lick Liza with the piece
Liza,
of
give me a
flatboard.
moment.
That's right. Yeah, I got lick Liza with the piece of flatboard. And my mother used to threaten us to with flatboard. And,
Oh,
and, and when it wasn't the flatboard, she had go climb the tamarind tree and you are whipping.
oh
So
Lord.
it was just part of that. So my inspiration for storytelling was in fact my parents. My
Mm,
knowledge that I could perform came from my parents, first of all, who were great community organizers in Whitfield Town, Kingston 13, and
yes.
who every time the community have something, them organize the concert.
Mm,
And because them never have nobody to pay for come perform, the performing artists were their five children and then put them on stage. That and going to Sunday school that have all kinds of performance activities that again my sisters and I were the stars in. So that's my beginning and my middling and no ending.
No ending. Yeah, it's
As part of that journey, I encountered in the process Louise Bennett. When I later came to discover that Louise Bennett was not loved,
right. She was
fool
not.
herself, was not loved
Yeah.
because she chat bad on the radio and she going to lead people astray. I was amazed. I was saddened
Mhm.
because anything bad what you ever say about Louise now, you say it about me.
For
Because me
you.
and her talk the same way. And share my parents have the same concerns. So that was and remains my emotional response and relationship with Louise Bennett. But I would not be speaking the truth if I said she influenced me. That wouldn't be true at all.
All right. Thank you
That
so
wouldn't
much.
be true. If anybody influenced me is somebody whom I don't know and is Louise Bennett mother.
Oh,
Yes, because when I read the things, the relationship that Miss Lou had with her mother, things I've heard directly from Miss Lou, in the conversations I was blessed to have with her, things I've read through her writings and extrapolated, things I've learned through the research that Professor Mervyn Morris has done on Louise Bennett and written about her. His mother was the powerhouse.
mm,
His mother, who was a dressmaker, who when Louise wrote her first poem and went home to her mother and said, I've written a poem, you want to hear it? And her mother said, read it now. And then she said to her mother, you think I'm going to be able to write poetry? And her mother said, yeah, if you can write poetry as well as I can sew, you're going to be a great poet. I mean, what confidence her mother, Karine Anderson, had in herself back in the day when we never have seamstress, we don't have dressmaker,
my God, yes.
to, to express that to her child. And when Miss Lou was invited to perform at her first dinner party, and she got tell her mother said they want her perform at dinner party, and the conversation are go on, and she asked her mother how much she must charge. Her mother said, "You go back and find out who going to be at the dinner party. And when you find out who's going to be there, I will tell you what you must charge." And
Oh,
lo and behold, the editor of the Gleaner was going to be at the dinner party. The same Gleaner who used to refuse Miss Lou's articles and
right.
poems. And her mother say, you go back and you tell them, say your charge for the dinner party is to have your works published in the Gleaner. Is our
Mm,
mother is the powerhouse.
yeah.
Yeah, which brings me to one of the things that fascinate me, what we become because our parents are our mentors and confidants, and we have that relationship with them. Which is not to say we can't become outside of that, because some of we not have a parents,
So true.
then dump way and left way. Or
Hmm.
they're there, but they don't know that they have the capacity. But those parents who are so gifted to raise us, they raise us to become smarty,
Yes.
without stumbling too much. We stumble, I think, a great deal more if we don't have that relationship with our mother and our father, or people who stand in the stead of our parents. And so that is why I love Louise' mother, for the same way I love the mothers of the reggae boys who helped us to qualify for the first time to go to World Cup football. Because guess what? All of them, if I'm not mistaken, were raised by single mothers.
Yeah.
Single mothers bear the burden for everything bad we go on at Jamaica. Two gun pop here. Because our woman I raise him.
Oh Lord, my goodness.
When him turn millionaire like Bob Marley, we not say, because our woman raise him now.
What?
Don't it? Hunger when him do something bad.
Them say, wow, because I want woman raise him. Never have a
I
father.
say to myself, who are these women who raise these young men? who
Yeah.
put us on the map in this different way? Who are these women who raised our athletes, who are blaze up fire upon the Olympics since me not know how long, you know?
Yes,
I haven't met Shelley Ann Fraser. I mean, I know where she are wait pan to come meet me.
you will meet her soon, Dr. Amina.
But I've read interviews that she's given about her mother. Her mother is an awesome, awesome woman.
Yeah.
And so part of what I do as a storyteller, as a person, as a lecturer, is to encourage persons to look at the relationship between Miss Lou and her mother, Shelley and Nancy, her mother, Usain Bolt and Fee mother, and say what you learn from it about what we could become if we
Right.
only learned how to value these relationships.
Amen. And in the same breath, I have to ask this question. How important is storytelling and what can people learn from storytelling?
Storytelling, I think, is one of the most important things that we can involve ourselves in. Everything we do is a story. The story of maths, the story of dividing the days into seconds and minutes and hours. That's the story of the Sumerians. The story of science and technology and metallurgy is the story of Africa. The story of writing. The story of this device that we are using,
Yes.
story of the contribution of Black people to civilization and how this thing will help us now through the pandemic and is here to stay to take us to another level of communicating. So stories are important for that reason because they are the repository of the human existence and what human beings have done, especially Black people. True, we are talking about this now in a Black History Month. But stories connect us over time. I don't even want to say to the past. Stories connect us, and stories provide the memory of who we are and where we have been. That's why we still a tell a Nancy story. Because we bring a Nancy. Thank you, give me me bit. Yes, I remember. You know, give me me bit. Me soon tell you, me remember how the little boy, uno daddy, I call him name for come for the prize at the prize giving ceremony. I can't find him because the little boy run gun ramp. And when him realize, say him name a call for get one prize, we him never expect, the little boy run up to the stage and stop and put him back in shirt, in him pants, and dust off him shoes. And the principal and everybody just stand up and wait upon this little boy to put himself back together. It was a wonderful, wonderful visit. Give me my bit. And I often will say, I want to know what has become of that child. Because him knows he must to present himself properly to collect a prize. Yeah, so storytelling, you see what a wonderful story. I don't know
Yes.
if that story, if that little boy remembers that story, but I remember it because the teachers were just so loving and so patient. And here is a little boy who never thinks that him win no prize for nothing at all. And him come. What must that have done to his self-image and self-confidence that
Yes.
he thought he could do nothing, actually get him name call up on the prize giving. And there is a generation of teachers who are just so loving and so supportive and so helpful in helping you to reach the level you didn't think you were capable of. And
Yeah.
that's why I remember that story and my visit to Gimme Me Bit. Yes, so stories do that. Stories help us to understand that every stage of life we are is high tech.
Right.
So we now have gas stove where you can turn it down or turn it
Turn it
up to
up.
250. But your mother used to bake in a oil pan, hella top, hella
Higher
bottom,
bottom, hallelujah in the middle.
and the pudding never spoil and it never
I know.
burn.
Nice.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Science and technology. And then there are other kinds of stories about how our parents met that some
Right.
of us don't even know how our parents met, what them used to wear. And yeah, And for children in school now, since I see other schools, Four Paths Primary School, also tuning in, stories open the way to language development, because first of all, to acquire language, you have to listen. To acquire language, you have to understand. To acquire language, you have to remember. And to
Right.
acquire language, you have to be able to retell. And those are all the skills that you are engaged with when you are listening to a story. And
Right.
once you acquire language skills, you have the gateway to everything else. Everybody who said they not like language in a school, I want to see you go do maths without understanding the language
Language.
which the
Right.
maths is written. You try your best.
Yes, they should try, but they won't succeed. Don't, Dr. Amina, I'm almost out of time, but I want to get a few more things done before we go. No, what are some of the struggles you would have encountered in your journey? You are a writer, you are a storyteller, and you have found the Untukuma Storytelling Foundation. What were some of the struggles you would have encountered?
Can I tell you that I don't accept that word in my vocabulary?
Oh,
No, every day is like no other. Every experience is like no other. And therefore, I am going to face it as something brand new. Me not have nothing to compare it to. If you say to me, boy, life peculiar, me I go ask you compare to what? It is what it is. It
yes,
is
yes.
what it is. And every moment is a moment to grow and to learn. And I'm not saying this because I have grown a couple gray hairs. I'm saying this because this is the way we were raised. And this is the example I have from my mother and father, from my mother in particular, whom nothing seemed to phase. She just a go on to the next thing, and she just a go on to the next thing. And I saw it go.
Right. Okay, so let me
Don't
see now.
you?
What are
Yes, I remember Miss Louise Clark. So I'm glad you remember the story.
no, Dr. Amina, you have a book and it's called What a Great Idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. That's a
Yes.
good idea. No, when did you publish this book?
May have two books for children now. That's a good idea. Came out in 2020.
Yes.
And the other one, Don't Hurt That Bird, came out last year. And my intention is to publish a single book every year from my store of stories, but also to do a volume, a compilation, a book. And that's a good idea, is about how we come to recognize ourselves as good ideas, because God never wastes time. And so it's a little boy going through the journey of the creation story and wanting to know who make the animals and who make him. And
Yes.
this say whoever make him, the thing say he was a good idea.
Right. And it's also available in Spanish.
And yes, it is also available in Spanish and being used in schools in Mexico.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And in Sri Lanka, the
In Sri Lanka.
illustrator is from Sri Lanka. So I know that I know the book is being read all over the world because we are able to track who order it from Amazon and where it go. So we know that. But we know for a fact that the book is in schools in Sri Lanka and in Mexico.
All right. Well, in fact, I have 2 more minutes. So, what are some of the things you do for fun? Your hobbies? Yes, and your favorite
You know what
food?
I mean? Like eat.
You like me too.
Me love eat. Me think of food I want serious pleasurable activity.
Me too.
And, and you and you can't love eat if you don't love cook.
Right. So, oh, you love to cook.
Especially if you are a vegetarian.
Oh, you're a vegetarian.
Yes. So I enjoy cooking. I love reading. I
You
love
love
reading.
reading.
I love mystery. I love solving mystery. Me find some me I watch some show on TV me should not be watching. All of the mystery shows have to
Oh,
do with
Lord.
solving murder. And
Yes.
yes, so them love kill them one another.
Don't.
Yes, but me watch all of those channels and then me solve the crime long before the show come to an end.
Oh,
I love being with my family.
yes.
I love being with my family. It sounds like something everybody say. But me will tell us that my family disgusted with me. For sometimes when I am ready to be with them now, them not ready. Them want to be alone.
I want to be alone. How many children do you have?
I have one son and two grandchildren, but my family includes my two sisters and my brother. My
Yeah.
family includes my sisters in law, my million thousand nieces, the 300 cousins we may have in Brandon Hill, the 39 in Spanish Town, and the others who are scattered around the globe.
Wow.
I'm not picking those as hypothetical figures, you know, a real figure may I give you. And we love to be together. So the last two Christmases have been difficult because we miss what we call the Christmas zoo. Because at Christmas time we always happy. I say, which yard we are gonna meet this Christmas?
Oh,
Yes, yes, yes.
guys,
And
plan.
everybody come rolling in. So I
Okay.
enjoy those things, but I also enjoy moments of quiet.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
love moments of quiet. So
peace and
one of the jokes in my family is that me who love make so much noise and laugh so loud. How come I also love quiet? But I do.
you do it. You just balance it.
Yes.
No, you found it. I have less than, well, my time is up, but I have to ask this before I go. So you founded the N2, and help me
That
out.
one. Brother took my group, yes.
Brother Tukumagu in 2002, right?
2002, yes.
How has that been like for you?
It's been awesome because we set ourselves a target, many targets, and one of them was to revive storytelling in the library, where
Yes.
I used to go on a Saturday morning. And now we have this wonderful relationship with the Jamaica Library Service, where we have an MOU to establish storytelling clubs in all of the libraries. And it's not just the parish libraries, it's a network of almost 800 libraries. And we have begun to train the librarians in how to manage the storytelling clubs and how to find stories about their communities which have not yet entered into the books. So yeah, I've we have been able to bring storytellers from all across the world to introduce to our children so they can hear other kinds of stories. So that has been widely successful in the last 2 years. We have an annual storytelling festival,
Wow.
and we move the festival to the electronic platforms and get 170,000 people around the world at tune.
170,000?
Yes, yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but it's not so difficult. If you have storytellers on all the continents and all around the region, and
Yeah.
they are participating in your storytelling, and they say to their networks where they are, I am going to be in a Nancy Soundsplash. Tune in. And
Mm.
then you have the good fortune of finding Rampoon, and Rampoon have radio and YouTube and Facebook
Everything.
in Delaware. It's
Thank
not
you.
hard.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amina. I'm out of time. I wish we had more time, but I'm out of time. Thank you so much for stopping by
I've
the Live
enjoyed it.
Highlights.
Thank you too. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Now, have a good day, Dr. Amina.
To bless you.
Bless you. Such a beautiful soul there, Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. Storyteller, writer, actress. So many hats, you know. Yeah, this is Love 101 FM, the family station.